next thing I'm working on is a steering rack. Now, obviously this car was left-hand drive with a manual rack. We could go for right-hand drive, manual rack, or Datsun. But because we've got the Scarlet engine, we could run power steering, and that's what I've been looking into. A lot of people have done it different ways. One thing I found is a Subaru rack seems to be one choice. And because we've got so many Subaru racks here, it's one of those, we could use this. The actual mounting points here and here line up fairly well on the subframe. But the biggest issue we've got, if you look at that, you can see it on the side, it sticks out probably about 6 inches on each side, so it's too long. So looking at some of the forums, some of the people that have done, they've gone with early sleepers like 1980s silicon tie rods. So I've ordered some of those, and they're a lot shorter compared to the original one. So with that on the rack and the Subaru end on, in theory it should bolt in. So I'm going to build this rack up to test and see if we can get it in there. And then once we've got that in, we can run a UJ onto the steering column and complete the rack system. And this power steering rack, we run a pump on the end and make custom line to get this working. So the power steering rack allows me so much nicer to drive.
Right, so that's done. It's much shorter, so to give you a comparison, that's where the end is now. That's where the original Subaru one was. It's that much longer. So that looks pretty good. So I've got my ends in. Obviously it needs to be aligned and whatever, centered. Looking pretty good, I think. So I'm working the fixings of the rack. We know we've got that one point there, which is got the rubber mounting. That's going to sit in here, and although that's like a semicircle mounting, the rack's got a square. So what I can do is notch this out to make a square point. That's fine. And then here we can make a circular bush and a mount for it as well. But one of the issues I've got is these pipes are actually in the way. To get the right angle on the rack, I've got to twist it. So I think what I might do is take the pipes off, both of them, put the rack in and then redo the pipes, either make new ones or slightly twist them into a better shape, and that'll make my life a bit easier. Right, one of the problems I'm facing right now, although I've got those pipes out the way that were touching, in order for me to get the rack in there, obviously it's a different shape, and I've got this piece touching the subframe here, and on the inside you can see the actual where the column fix is going to touch the supporting part of the cross member. So I need that point to be about here where it's clear, and you can see this side sits in nicely, this side is still too high. And then the only thing I can do is actually start to cut out the subframe, get this sat in, and then re-weld and strengthen the subframe. I think that's my only alternative to get this to work. Open that window there in the subframe was to get this bulk of the rack in there. So if I try and put this in, just like this now, that's much better. So I'm sitting in that recess there, I'm sitting in the recess there, although the rack is square and the recess is round. So my position is nice and straight, and it's level as well when you look at it that way. So that's where it needs to fit.
So now we've cut both ends of the column. Because we're welded together, it makes sense to put a sleeve. So you can weld them and then put a sleeve over and add some strength. I'm going to cut a piece of this out to put over both where the joint's going to be a bit stronger.
I think we've got a pretty productive day on the steering. Everything seems to be in and it's working. I'll show you. So just to recap all done, we've got our Subaru steering rack, that's a version 7 Bug-Eye STI one I put in there. On this side, the mountings, we actually use the original Datsun rubber bushes there, and the bracket, that's all fitted because it's round anyway. On the other side, it's a square, although we're setting up like a diamond, so we recessed the subframe at the bottom and then bent the bracket into a V and also spread it out so it's wide and locks into the original Subaru bush there. We've got the Celica tie rods with the Subaru ends. Now where we've got our input from the UJ there, we cut the tower. We cut a little bit extra, which is not a problem, because now what we'll do is take it out on the bench and rebuild and strengthen and put another support leg in there to make that stronger. And while we're at it, we'll probably put one on that side because it's actually hollow if I show you around the back. And we might as well strengthen it before we put it all back together. And our column there is now welded with a sleeve to make it extra strong, and that's all bolted together. And let's see if it all works. So the steering is in there, and if I turn here, you should see it all working there. You can see that arm on the left there coming in, right back out again. So happy days, that all works. So mechanically it's up together. We're now going to take it all out and dress everything up, clean the subframe, do all the welding work, tidy up all the edges, and then after that I'm going to make the hoses that I took off earlier from there back into the bottom of the rack. And the other task will eventually be is the higher pressure and return lines that are going to go to the power steering pump, which is going to be on that side, and that'll be the Skyline pump. We'll make those later. When we're doing a fabrication job like the Datsun and everything's got to be made, you've got to make things fit and modify and custom work, especially like that rack. So I've got a different rack, I've got different arms, I've got different ends and bushes and U-joints and so on. I can go into the stores, we've got so much stuff here at the buildings. I'll show you in this fabrication shop what we do. A lot of stuff here already. Just walk you around. So when it comes to even like nuts and bolts, we keep everything here. So all the stuff that comes out of cars is so helpful. So bolts, nuts, washers, odd fixings and clips and banjos, all the sort of things you will use in fabrication work. So screws and clips, but even like it's made of like a big pile of pipes and brackets and so on. But I think any fabricator will agree, this sort of stuff comes in so handy. Every day you're rummaging through this, finding an odd flange or something that you can fit. You want to take a bracket for something that's decent metal there. That's really handy for us. The rack, for example, this is one of our storerooms. This is just for steering racks, and you can see it looks a bit like a butcher's really. But I've got lots of different racks because we specialise in Skylines, Evos, Subarus. I've got a choice in what I did. I came in here and found the closest match with, which was a Subaru STI version 7, the Bug-Eye shape, and that's the one that I used. And then I could find the ends I wanted. I found the UJs and so on. So it's handy having all this sort of stuff lying around. Yeah, makes my life a lot easier. Subframe is now done, so the rack fits, the UJ fits in there, and that's extra strength in the whole thing and lots of space. So that'll get dressed up and painted, and then we'll get all that fitted back up in the car. Right, the heater box is all ready. Dad's been busy, stripped that down, rebuilt it all, painted it, so all new pipes. That's ready to go, and this was a right-hand drive one. You probably saw it before, but it's all rusty. That's the one that came out of the car, the left-hand drive one. Now, one thing I've got a problem with is, although I bought the heater blower fan, for some reason I've been sent the left-hand drive one. So I'm going to turn this snail the other way around and then make that fit. So I'm going to get that done, and then I can mount everything back in the car. So I'll get this in first, This is the housing for the blower, which takes air from the top. 3 brackets in the back of this. It's a shame I didn't notice this when I first put it together, otherwise we would have done it then. Now, the snail. So this was facing the wrong way because it was on the right hand side of the car, so we were going to turn it around. But obviously the holes are a different size. The blower fan fits in a bigger aperture, but it doesn't matter, we can always cut that out. So I'm going to line this up for the duct here, just there. This has to go in here. So I position it here, I can still get that bolt in. So if I put that in, we've got the opening at the back, lets the air in. For the motor here, I have to make the hole bigger, fit the motor here, and that's going to go directly into the blower. So that was lucky. Now I just need to mark where that's going to fit, so the angle is correct here, and then I'm going to drill it, fit it all, and then cut this out and fit the fan this side. Right, put the bolts back in. This wire run back here to the heater controls. Great business. That's looking good.